All right, I want to give you guys a little help on this 4.10.3 Revolution models. All right, up till now we've used things like cut, extrude cut, fillets, chamfers. They're all pretty basic commands. They're all things that we're pretty familiar with. Okay, we've all used wood or putty or Play-Doh or something like that to create parts where we mush holes or add things. Revolves are something that is a little different, and it's something that takes some time for some people to wrap their head around, and that is okay. So we're going to look through the instructions for the assignment first real quick. All right. You're going to model some parts, potentially just one part. All right. For full points on the assignment, you only need to get 10 points. All right. The cylinder here is worth 5 points. The sphere here is worth 5 points. And this cup is worth 10 points. All right. They need to be revolved, and we're going to talk about what that actually means in just a second. But they have to be revolved, and when you take a screenshot, the screenshot has to have your design tree over here so that I can see that it was revolved. All right. This cylinder would be very easy to make as an extrusion. I understand that. But the point of this exercise is to work with revolves. So what are revolves? The easiest way to think about revolves is to think about a wheel. A wheel revolves around its axle or its central axis. All right. And that's exactly what these parts are going to do. We are going to revolve them around some central line. All right. We're going to start right here with the cylinder. Okay. This is actually one of the parts that you can potentially create is a cylinder. And so if you drew this up real quick and dimensioned it the right way, which we can see in a second what those dimensions would need to be, you could catch up and start the video again if you wanted to. All right, at this point. All right, what we're going to do, I've already sketched all of these three parts out. All right, they are not to the correct scale for size for what your assignment needs to be, but they're close enough to show as a demonstration, right? Because they're going to create something, it's going to be a feature. So we're going to go to the Features tab. All right, and we are going to select Revolved Boss Base. All right, it's going to ask me what I want to revolve. Okay, actually, first it's going to ask me, what is the axis of revolution? Where is the center point of this part going to be? For me, I'm going to say it is this line right there. All right, and now it has given me a preview of what that finished part is going to look like. All right, you can see that that is my central axis right here. This rectangle has been revolved. It circumscribes this central axis. All right, just for information so that you can see it, there are some other ways that we can revolve. If let's say we only wanted a half revolve, a half cylinder, we could change that to 180 degrees and we would get a preview of what that would look like. We could do half one direction, half another. All right, for right now, we're just going to stick with the basic 360 degrees to make a cylinder. If you were to dimension this out, this would probably need to be 1 inch, right? And this you now see doesn't need to be 1 inch, it needs to be half an inch, all right? Because it revolves all the way around that axis, all right? So there's one. All right, we're going to come over here. I'm going to select this sphere, and I am going to do another revolve boss base. Okay, think about what this is going to look like. Okay, what is this one going to look like when I add the axis of revolution right here? Okay, if you said sphere, yeah, you're right on. All right, a lot of people, when they try to create spheres, they create a full circle, and SolidWorks does not like that. You can give it a try. You could draw a line in the center as a central axis, and it will crash into itself, and it won't end up working. All right, so it's a half of the sphere up here, half circle, and we will revolve it around that axis. All right, you could easily dimension that up for your second part. Now, what about this guy right here? What happens, you can see with hole, okay, so you can probably guess what's going to happen. All right, what happens when I revolve this? All right, it's already inferred because I've added a center line. It guesses what my center axis is going to be. So it says, hey, you've got a central axis. That's probably the center of your part. We're going to revolve it around there. All right, and we can see it's kind of an oblong sphere now, but it is revolving around this axis. So let's say we're creating a wheel or a hub or a bushing or something like that. What we do is we offset the axis of revolution. All right, we're going to get into this more, but I want you to see, okay, what that looks like. What happens when we offset the part that we want to revolve away from the axis we want to revolve it around. Okay. All right. This is not the correct shape for your cup. You'll have to read the instructions for that. All right. It's intentionally a little more difficult than the other two. If it was me, I would do all three just to make sure I got full points. All right. I'm going to select this cup. And I'm going to select Revolve Boss Base again. Okay. It's asking me for the axis of revolution. I want to show you that we can select other things. If I select here, we see, yeah, we get a cup shape. Perfect. All right. That's what we're actually looking for. There may be a time where you want to make a bottom of a table or some sort of pin, something like that. All right. We could also select a different axis. Okay. By looking at the part as a half, all right, we can use a revolve. Now, in these instances, okay, a sphere would actually be really difficult to make. But a cylinder, yeah, we could extrude it. It would be much easier. But we will, the more you think about revolves, okay, the easier some future projects will be. And personal projects, maybe you're making wheels or something, are going to be much easier using revolve. But there is your cup shape. All right. Okay, I do want to show you one instance of something that maybe is a little more difficult or would be more difficult to make. Okay, I want you to think about this. What do you think this part is going to look like if this is my axis of revolution? Let me get head on to it right here. Okay, what's this going to turn into? All right, what's going to be in the center? All right, well, we can see that there's nothing in the center. All right, if this is the feature and I'm revolving it around this line, there's going to be nothing here. All right, so there's going to be a hole for something. All right, I'm just going to revolve this. Okay, what do I want to revolve? I want to revolve the sketch that I just created. Okay, and now because I have two centers, it's going to ask me, what do I want the axis of revolution to be? Right here. Okay, what do I want to revolve? I want to revolve that. And I'm going to hit the green check mark just to show you. Now I've created a pretty decent looking wheel. All right. We're going to be doing quite a few wheels and pulleys and things like that in the future. So thinking about them as revolves, get used to revolves, start thinking about, okay, wait, if I revolve this, instead of doing an extrusion and then another extrusion and then some sort of weird fillet or chamfer and a half round, how are we going to figure that out? Think about them as revolves, and it'll make your life a little bit easier.